So Crunchyroll released a 35-minute video doing a sneak peek and visual event with the cast and crew, such as the producer, director, and some of the voice actors and music composers, to go over pretty much a sneak peek or a preview of the God of High School and the process that went into it. In today's video, I'm just going to be breaking down some key aspects that we learned from that will come in the series, and we actually finally got an episode count confirmation, which I'll talk about later, so get hyped for that. If you want to see more God of High School content, make sure to subscribe, and hope you enjoy. The start of the video featured the first 5 minutes of episode 1 that we finally got to see. So as a whole, what I gathered from watching the first 5 minutes a couple times, it didn't start the same way as the manga, with like each character meeting the one member of the six to introduce them to the God of High School tournament, or the big fighting tournament in Korea. The first 5 minutes cover the motorbike chase scene that covers the whole of chapter 4. This is a small chapter compared to some later chapters, but as a whole, what I gathered, 5 minutes equals one chapter, because it covered pretty much everything from chapter 4, nothing before or nothing after. It adapted pretty much everything from that chapter well, with some little extra bits that I really enjoyed and enhanced that scene as a whole. They did a good job in capturing the comedy and funny moments with the characters' faces that tend to change a lot depending on the mood or what's going on during the scene, and it showed that they were able to capture that during the anime, and that they will be able to show that during the anime a lot, which is a key feature of the God of High School manga. I'm glad they're implementing that into the anime. The voice acting, from what I can tell, is solid, very good. I'll talk about this later as a whole segment of the video talking about that. The sound design and track throughout the 5 minutes was good, and there was a rap scene flowing throughout, which was interesting and very unique to see. The animation was solid as well, but nothing revolutionary. I'm guessing the budget is being saved for the fight, which is great, and I'll talk about this later as well, as it was mentioned. After we saw the first 5 minutes, we got into the next segment, which was an interview with the music producer and one of the composers of the God of High School anime. As a whole, what I gathered from the interview, they're excited to be involved in the creation and proud what they have done. The producer has been working with MAPPA before and plans to continue working with MAPPA with the anime Jujutsu Kaisen, which is coming out at the end of the year from Studio MAPPA as well, being the lead music producer of that anime as well. They say that action scenes are amazing, which is great to hear. They said they used a very unique use of sound. The director wanted a hip-hop soundtrack throughout of the anime, and then they introduced rap elements as well, which was cool to see. And the composer said they used different tempos when going from action to other scenes with a continued flow that seamlessly, they stated. They talked about the feature of a lot of action scenes, which will lead into how the adaptation will be done. They also used traditional Korean instruments in some tracks, and some inspiration came from K-pop. Yes, K-pop. As you know, Korean manga, what did you expect? They say the director was very passionate on working on the God of High School, which is good to see. And they actually went to Korea to study some traditional Korean instruments for the production of the God of High School, which is very interesting to see and shows how much drive they have to want it to be great. And the composer or the producer was also the person who worked on the Dr. Stone soundtrack, which was also a pretty solid soundtrack. They actually confirmed that there is going to be 13 episodes of the series. This is the direct quote of what they said. Episode 13 of the series is the final episode, so 13 episodes. It's going to be interesting to see how much they adapt, and if they really truly do adapt everything that's in the trailers, they go up to chapter 105 in these 13 episodes, or the trailers aren't based on what's shown in the anime, which won't really make too much sense. You would expect the trailer to be pretty much adapted, or everything in the trailer to be done in the anime, so we'll see how it goes. And they say that a lot of tracks were made for these 13 episodes, much more than the regular anime, which is very interesting and good to see. After that, we got a message from the people who worked on the opening and the ending. From what I gathered from the person who was talking about the opening, or the person who worked on the opening, they said a lot of the fight scenes in the opening resemble the fights in the show, which is good to see. So once we get to see the opening, we can probably get more of a grasp of what will be covered in the anime, so that's good to note. I would not too much on that. After that, we got a message from the voice cast. The voice cast, or the voices as a whole, seem to match from what I can gather. Maury's voice actor seems very excited and gives off the same vibe as Maury, and so do the other two actors for the other two main characters, which is very good to see, and I think the voice actors have done and will do a great job for this. And then after that, to end the video, they did a behind the scenes documentary of the creation of the God of High School anime, with the actual manhwa creator being involved, and I'll talk about that now. The manhwa creator said that he entrusted all the adaptation work to the production company, and that he was very satisfied with what he saw that the anime came out to be, which is very great to hear. Director wanted to stay as faithful as possible to the adaptation, but the author of the manhwa actually wanted him to push the boundaries of what could be adapted and what wouldn't, which was very interesting to see, and will pretty much link to the 13 episodes and how much they'll cover, and whether they'll go from every panel of the story adapted into the manhwa. And the last episode, they said they used live action filming in the form of motion capture of martial arts to get a more realistic feeling and adaptation of the pretty much movements many of the characters use, which is very interesting to see. I don't know if they've done that in other anime. I would assume they have, but I don't think this is a regular thing, and it's very good to see how much drive and want for it to be realistic and get it across to the greatness that is the God of High School. And as a whole, the author of the manhwa said he enjoyed the anime for what he saw. I don't know how much he's watched, but from what I gathered, he said he's watched quite a bit of it, or if not all of it, so that's great to hear. If he enjoyed it, he said he had goosebumps while watching, so that's just great to see. If the manhwa creator's happy with it, I'm assuming it's going to be a pretty good adaptation. And the question only is the 13 episodes and how much will be adapted? We'll eventually find out, most likely when we get the opening and see what's in there based on what the opening creator said, so wait for that. But as a whole, 13 episodes confirmed. Will it adapt to chapter 104? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments of the pretty much the hype for this anime, and stay tuned for more God of High School videos. Subscribe, and that's it guys. Peace.